Hit that recording this time. Okay. Hi again. Forgot to hit record for as always. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us here to talk about Arsenal 3, West Ham 1. I did not catch that match because I was watching Avatar Way of the Water. Absolutely fabulous movie, great visual effects and good story as well. Please go watch it if you haven't. But yeah, let's talk to someone who actually did see the match, right? What was the biggest takeaway from this game?
Biggest takeaway, the comeback spirit or not deviating from the plan. We were doing everything right in the first half, except maybe putting the finishing touches. And as soon as the first goal went in, we knew that we had the game in hand. We knew that we would win the game. It was not going to be a draw. For sure, it was not going to be a draw. And West Ham, after they conceded the first goal, they decided to actually play some football, which actually opened the doors for Arsenal. They tried to set up a really, really low block in the first half after their goal, and they really succeeded in that. But not playing football will only take you so much. You can only pass it around within yourself for a limited amount of time. You actually have to attack the opposition. You have to go for the goal. You maybe have to create chances. West Ham were struggling to do that, and they were just mopping the floor most of the time, which did yield in the goals.
From the highlights that I saw again, it seemed like we needed some luck, like that absolutely mishit Odegaard shot that Saka just pounced. I mean, he's just bringing that World Cup form in, right? That just shows a player who's just so switched on at all times to have the awareness to take the ball under control and just completely wrong-footed Fabianski on that finish as well. And I think you can blame Fabianski for that second goal as well, because no way should you let a near post go. But again, speaks to the confidence that Martinelli is coming in with to dribble past his defender,
Outrageous
go in,
confidence.
and it's just
Outrageous confidence.
absolutely incredible. And again, speaking of more confidence, taking all that weight on his shoulder, of course, we were kind of off the pressure by that point. But what a turn for Nketiah's goal, man! What a turn! Great control. What a finish.
Let me build it up by saying Ben White really created that
Yeah,
goal.
that touch to just
That
take it
touch,
far.
that touch. Ben White had a fabulous game yesterday. Ben White and Martin Odegaard were probably the standout players of the game yesterday. And especially good for Ben White after media started talking trash about him, about why he left from the World Cup. Reasons that are cited as personal are being misused as infighting or not agreeing to the manager, which clearly was not the case. And I think Gareth Southgate has developed a tendency where he would really be open if that was the case. He did not say that. He maintained his discipline. Ben White maintained his discipline. They didn't really make a fuss about it. And yesterday's game was really a confidence booster.
Yeah.
Another big highlight of the game, Arsene Wenger's return to the Emirates.
Yes, I.
First time since 2018. Probably a
Uh,
long time coming.
by halftime, he was probably wondering, I maybe shouldn't have come back. But
Never in doubt.
he looked delighted by the end of that 90, right? But this game marked a few really key things for me, right? One of the most important things that stood out for me was, okay, he considered a fairly soft penalty, but Saliba just looked just as good as he did before the season ended, right? You'd think just not featuring at all for France in the World Cup and the team that went all the way to the finals might kind of dent his confidence to an extent. Completely unfazed, just walk right at that starting
Mentality
11
monster.
and just picked right up from where he left off. Ramsdale, staying switched on right to the end, where that I think it was probably a Paqueta shot or maybe it was a Benrahma shot that he saved
It
right
was a
at the
big
death.
drama shot. Yeah.
Fabulous save for that one too. But what stood out to me the most was the tackle that Granit Xhaka made on Antonio in West Ham's half and did not get booked for, which which is like just changing. That is like that is a yellow card any day of the week, right? And especially if you're Granit Xhaka in days gone by, that
It's
is
a
like
red.
that is a
Easy.
nailed on card for you. There is no way you're getting away from it. But it goes to show how much like your reputation and your perception goes into your referee's decision making when it comes to these things. Over the last year, Granit Xhaka has completely reformed his image to the point where now he can make a tackle like that and get away with it scot free, which would have probably it was a very easy counter attack opportunity for West Ham. So just small tidbits kind of stood out to me in the highlights that I watched. But like you said, this was all about mentality going into halftime, because walking into this match, it was all about the pressure, right? Can Arsenal step right up after a long absence? Are they the real deal? Like getting the win was always going to be like the big talking point. And like you said, did not crumble under pressure, came out guns blazing the second half, stuck to the program, and got a very well deserved victory there. I mean, they have to be
I
absolutely delighted.
I also noticed one more thing. Kieran Tierney actually started playing on the underlap. He was playing as the third midfielder for a long time. And he has definitely adapted to what Arteta needs. That really shows the mentality of the squad and the belief that they have in the manager.
And that's what I thought as well. Is like, there was a very, he was playing in a way that really embodies how Arteta wants to play, because it really embodies what Zinchenko would do for Manchester City. And I think that also goes to show that in the absence of football, like they have really worked in the training ground with the players who haven't traveled with the team. I mean, Gabriel looked a way better player in this game than he has looked so far this season. No errors in his game, really solid performance. There is this, he didn't do anything incredible, but at the same token, he didn't do anything foolish. But let's end with talking about West Ham, right? Because they're kind of in trouble right now. I think they're like sitting 16th in the league. That's yet
Almost
another loss.
down there.
Almost
Almost.
down there, yeah, exactly. And a lot of players not firing for them. Their defense is kind of shallow. Some injuries in their career, starting in sort of his preferred position as centre back, but felt sort of out of place at centre back. Declan Rice being pushed off the ball by a much smaller and a much weaker Bukayo Saka. Suchek has been pretty much absent. Antonio it feels like he's been figured out as well. Um, there's lots of things going on there. Like what's going wrong with this West Ham team?
They really have not found a striker. I don't know why Skamaka did not play yesterday. Could possibly be some rotation or some tactical change. I was not sure whether he was injured or nursing an injury. But if you've really gotten a new striker, you really need to put him in on these games, probably give him some game time so that he gets some confidence to play. You can't really just thrust him to some random game and expect him to bang goals. He needs some game time, right? And this is a different league. He might not really adapt very well at the start. Over reliance on Jared Bowen and the other flank, the other wide guy to play it
Ben
through.
Rama in this game, right?
Ben Rama in this game, yes. I think they're being over reliant on them, and it might not really work out because even with pacey wingers who might want to cross in the ball or cut through, you need to have someone up front who's going to make that conversion for you. And West Ham don't seem to have that.
Yeah.
Plus, their own defensive issues, their own away record. I think it's a lot of things going on at the same time. And David Moyes really has a task right now to just get the team back to a structure so that they don't end up losing games. West Ham is a side that's not really known to go down so easy. And it would be shocking to see if that happened because they've really spent some good money in the transfer window. And Declan Rice is also not really ready to sign an extension. Again, he's not in the wrong here. So they really need to plan for a life without Declan Rice. And it is going to be the challenge for David Moyes from now onwards to maybe start of next season to figure out what can he do. Can he get in a transfer that can reduce the reliance on Declan Rice and play him for the time he's there at the club, but make sure there is a transition plan ready because he is arguably their best player on that side.
Yeah, I mean, lots of problems, lots of things for them to consider. Clearly, it seems like European football is out of their sight for now, given their current form. But yeah, let us know what do you think is going wrong at West Ham, and what did you take away from this Arsenal performance today. And as always, please hit like, share, subscribe, helps a lot. And see you guys next time for Arsenal versus Brighton, another huge fixture.